Om Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Murmuhu. Devotee. Sri Ramakrishna is talking to devotees, and one of the devotees asking, Revered Sir, why does a man dying in Banaras become liberated? Master, why does a man dying in Banaras become liberated? It's not only man, any being, living being, dying in the Banaras is supposed to get liberated. Master, for unseen things, you see, always, for unseen things, like God, what is the proof that God is there? Show me. I cannot show anybody what God is. What you are seeing is God actually, but you do not know it is God because you don't know who you are. You are considering this body to be yourself. So you are seeing a world because your knowledge of yourself is wrong. You have a wrong scale with which you want to measure. So it will not give the correct reading. Like that, you don't know who you are. You are asking, where is God? First find out who you are. In this body, you know who God is. Like that, unseen things, what is the proof? Is the scriptures, authority. And then second is the one who has experienced, who has realized the truth. Enlightened souls like Buddha, enlightened souls, they are the proof. They say, I went, I saw and came. You want to see? I can take you there. Are you ready to come with me? Yes. Those who say, yes, I am ready, to them, they take and show again. Like Naren asking Ramakrishna, have you seen God? He says, yes, I have seen more clear than I am seeing you now. What powerful words you see. I am seeing you now. That you are clear, with open eyes, daylight. I am seeing you. More clear than that I am seeing God. Because he is not seeing through when he sees God, he is not seeing through the instrument. He is seeing independent of all the instruments. We have only instruments through which we can see. Panchajnanendriyas. Without instruments, we cannot see. We will not be in waking state. We will be in superconscious state. If you leave all the instruments, you are in superconscious state. You can see only God. Now, you have so many specks or a specs which can change its color as it wants or as you want. But some color must be there. Colorless. To see things as they are, you need a colorless specs. Varieties of colors are there in it, but colorlessness is not there in a specs which he is wearing. Now he sees the world as yellow. Now he sees the world as green, blue, everything. But what the world is, he doesn't know, because the limitations of the senses and mind, limitation of the instrument, makes him get an understanding of it, a rough understanding, but not real understanding. So, mind and senses are limited. It can depict a limited understanding of the universe, not to the extent of it being God. Like that, he's asking, why does a man dying in Banaras become liberated? Master is answering. A person dying in Banaras sees the vision of Shiva. One who is immersed in his own Atma Jnana, Atma Krida, Atma Ratihi. He plays with his own self. He is deeply interested and lost himself in the awareness of it. Sachidananda Sagara is Shiva. A person dying in Banaras sees the vision of Shiva. Shiva says to him, "This is my aspect with form, my embodiment in Maya." You cannot see the formless. As you move towards the formless, you are going to lose your form. And you are going to lose the duality. The Dvaita itself is going to dissolve. Just like salt water, ocean, and salt doll, trying to see its depth. A salt doll jumps into tells others, "I will go and find out the depth of the ocean," and jumps into the ocean. As it goes, it started dissolving. Last, it was totally dissolved before it could reach the bottom. It cannot come back also. When it goes to Nirguna Nirakara, it becomes one with it forever. So, who will tell the depth? Now, I saw the Triputi, the triad dissolves. Seer, seen, and sight dissolves. The seer is dissolved, sight is dissolved, the seen is dissolved. The Triputi dissolves. And there is one vast existence. Who is seeing who? Nobody is there. It is one existence without a duality. Now, God is that infinite, eternal existence, unchanging. But for the sake of devotee, he condenses himself into a form. How does it happen? Just like your dream world. The mind is taking the form of dream world. Mind, it has the power to become whatever it wants. For the sake of devotee, it condenses. Mind is condensing into various forms of dream objects. Mind is condensing. Mind cannot be seen. But it can take any form to appear before you. It takes different forms and creates a world. And you enter into it, the world is changing. All movements are there. Animal is running. Man is frightened. Everything is mind. Mind has become many. The Sattva Rajatama, cognition, seeing each other is going on. Movements are going on. Animals are running and all this is going on. And objects are there, tamas. Objects, movements, and cognition, seeing, observing, senses, all these are there. How the one mind has become a world itself, you see. This is called Maya. Through Maya, it takes the forms. God, through a particular aspect of Maya, we call it Yoga Maya. It is ever united with Him. It is ever within Now, I have so many powers. All powers cannot be applied at all times. Now, I may be having intellectual power. I may be having power to love. Now, I am lost in some other thought. Somebody's child is there in an hospital, his parents, they cannot concentrate on anything. How does the time come, you see? He has the power, but he cannot exercise. He is sleepy, he cannot exercise. He has become mad, he cannot exercise his power. Like that, there are so many obstructions. He has, but he cannot manifest. He cannot love under many conditions. Some time alone he is able to love. Like that, we have powers, but we cannot exercise all times because that power is under the control of nature. My nature decides. Nature is a part of nature only. I have no control over that. But God's all powers are within His control. And also a special power which can do and undo anything, which is called Yoga Maya. It's always within Himself. I want to become this, it becomes. It's called Yoga Maya. I want to become a child and appear move about in this world. Immediately, a child will be moving about in this world. He has become the world, and in the world, another child is moving, which is himself. All this is possible? Yes, because it is Yoga Maya. Anything is possible in dream? Yes. Anything can. You can be flying in the air, which you can never do. Like birds, you are flying, taking glides. Anything is possible. Suddenly, you will become still. You have become a stone. It is possible. Yes, in dream, anything is possible. Like that, for God, anything is possible. Because the power is within His control and united with Him. Yoga, it's united with Him at all times. He can do and undo. Through that, He is at the time of when the person is dying, Shiva gives him the vision of an aspect which you can perceive through your senses, to whom you can talk through your bodily existence. This is possible. It appears, Krishna says, with form. Through his own Maya, he creates a body and presents himself. Look at me. You can't see my real aspect because you will immediately lose your external awareness if you want to see me. But I can reveal myself with form to you. So reveals at the time of death in Banaras. Because it is later on he may come, says him, Shiva says to him, this is my aspect with form, my embodiment in Maya. I assume this form for the sake of the devotees. Now look, I am merging in the indivisible Satchidananda. How clearly Sri Ramakrishna says, you see, I am merging in Shiva himself. Slowly his form is dissolving away. Uttering these words, Shiva withdraws his form and enables a dying person to see Brahman. The absolute, that is, he is transcending all differences, is dissolving in the absolute, where universes appear and disappear, time and again. That aspect, unchanging, eternal reality, the Brahman, he gets the vision of that Brahman. The Puranas say that even Chandala, endowed with love of God, achieves liberation. According to this school, the name of God is enough to liberate the soul. This is not in Banaras, anywhere. A lowly born person with all limitations of the world and without any samskaras. When the Chandala, when we say Chandala, is a person who doesn't have spiritual tendencies. Just like when we say he is fit to be a peon only, a servant only. He cannot be a director. Why? Why do you say so? He is also human. You are also another person is also human. You are telling he is fit to become a manager and not. His intellectual capacities, foreseeing things, seeing the subtler aspect of life, the consequences of this one. His mind is slow. It is not trained. It doesn't have the tendencies to see into that reality. So he is living, but his intellectual capacities are less. Each man has its own capacity. A person can lift 250 pounds. Another person can lift only 80 pounds. What a difference. Between person to person, all things are different capacities. Similarly, intellectual capacities are less. So he can be used somewhere, which he cannot do. He is having physical power, but intellectual power is not there. He can work very hard, which director cannot work. One day, if he works with him, he will sleep for 3 days. But where a man is fit to use him in that, to give him that opportunity to expand in that field which belongs to him, is the best way of handling things so that each man evolves to his fullness. Yes, my child, work for God, work for these people. You will attain the same thing. That whatever is your capacity, put it out. What is your propensity? Put it out for the sake of God and others. So here we see Chandala is a person who doesn't have the samskara or tendencies of the trying to understand what God is. But somehow he comes in contact with some people and gains some tendencies. Now, a fly or a small insect, it cannot cross over the river. It tries to get it on the water, it will be taken away. One small worm, it doesn't have wings. It cannot cross the river by any means. But if that worm slowly climbs upon an animal which can jump through, a tiger is sitting, which can cross over by jumping or swimming, it climbs on its back. It simply jumps and goes away. How that happens, you see. Ramanujacharya gives this example to tell that company of the holy men, how that transforms a jiva to the other side. It doesn't have any samskaras. It doesn't have the tendencies at all. No propensities pertaining to spiritual tendencies. But he is in the constantly company of satsanga, goes on hearing, acquires a little faith, is climbing over another, this one, which can travel. So the Chandala, who doesn't have any samskaras or tendencies, spiritual tendencies, endowed with love of God, somehow he has acquired love, he is able to love God, achieves liberation. According to this school, the name of God, he has heard so many times the name, this is going to do Vishnu Sahasranama. In the end, Phalashruti is there. One who goes on chanting this will be liberated. He gets faith in that. He goes on repeating the name of God. Love of God and faith. According to this school, the name of God is enough to liberate a soul. There is no need of such things as worship, sacrifice, the discipline of tantra and recitations of mantra. Nothing is necessary. Just a little love and faith of a child. Like child, it believes, it is sufficient. He has love, like just take ordinary love. How does a child love its mother? If it doesn't see for a moment, when mother is there, her voice far off is heard also. He'll be playing. When mother is out of sight, immediately how restless the child becomes. Especially when you get lost in the groups, here, there, large section of people are moving, festivity, celebrations. If the child is lost, how both mother and child suffer, you see. That much love, that much of dependence is sufficient of a child on its mother. But the teachings of the Vedas are different. This is about Puranas, Vedas. According to the Vedas, none but a Brahmin can be liberated. Further, Brahmin means one who has the spiritual tendencies and spiritual knowledge. He has gone through this, just like in present society. None but a certified doctor can treat a patient or prescribe a medicine. That none but, because he has studied, it has been proved that he has studied through passing through the exams. And life is not a play. Anybody can try to treat a person and put him into greater problems or even cause the death. So restriction is made. One who is qualified alone can treat. Like that, a Brahmin alone can attain. Because his tendencies and he has gone through the systematic studies of the Vedas. He knows what is Brahman. Though it is theoretical and bookish, they assure that the knowledge, one day or the other, the tendencies acquired will, like a seed, one day or other, when the water falls, it germinates and becomes a tree again. So that hope that he is born with those tendencies, cultivated those tendencies, lived with those tendencies, and the tendencies will make him an enlightened soul. But the teachings of Vedas are different. According to the Vedas, none but a Brahmin can be liberated because they don't have knowledge, real knowledge. Like that, we have in our society, you can see everywhere identity and qualification. Are you qualified? Anywhere, any job. You see, are you qualified for that job? But grace stands sometimes without that condition. Now, a few devotees of Ramakrishna in Karnataka, one place, they joined together. They're all doctors. But present salary is so high, they cannot give the services at low expenses and on low charges and free of cost. They cannot. So what they did, village children, girls and boys, who have just failed 10th, 11th standard, 12th standard, they're not able to go for education, further education, were trained to be nurses. A qualified nurse you have to pay 30,000 rupees per month. These children are satisfied with 5,000 rupees a month. They can have sufficient staff and can give free services to the people. They have been trained in such a way, the discipline, the way in which they stand, dressed, ready to, every bit is taught to them, which the nurse know. But they don't have qualification. But these are the people who are able to serve. And even lab assistants are those who have failed in 10th and 11th. Girls are taught to put in the microscope and count the cells, all these titrations to find out how to put in the machine. Machine gives the readings, is copied down. They are able to treat people who are not able to pay anything with all medicines, surgery and all that. This is grace. You are not qualified, but you are made qualified and given that job. And all come by cycle. They have been free cycle. In the village itself, the whole villagers, youngsters are seen in the hospital. One wiping, one doing this and that work. They are all one. Joyfully they are living there, serving people with. They feel the heaven has come down for them. So the grace of God can descend. Further, the worship is not necessary unless, according to Vedanta, that is, Vedics are different. According to Vedas, none but a Brahmin can be liberated. Further, the worship is not accepted by the gods unless mantras are recited correctly. To maintain the correct recitation, it is insisted. If you don't utter properly, the mantras as it should be uttered, gods will not accept your offerings. One must perform sacrifice, worship and so on according to scriptural injunctions. But where is the time in Kali Yuga to perform the Vedic rituals? In Kali Yuga, the path of devotion prescribed by Narada is the best, Bhakti Yoga. The path of karma is very difficult. Karma becomes the cause of bondage unless it is performed with the spirit of detachment. Detachment must be deep inside before they can put hand. Further, the life of man nowadays depends on food, anna gata prana. If a man cannot starve for 2-3 days and work, he has no time to observe rituals enjoined by scriptures. The patient dies if he tries to cure his fever taking the decoction of herbs prescribed by the orthodox native physicians. The diseases are changing, the medicines have to change. Therefore, he should take the modern fever mixture. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.